Hello friends! Welcome back to Raising Readers, our online story time from the Alpha Park Public Library. I am Miss Sarah and today we are on the letter W for our alphabet series. We're getting so close to the end, only 3 more letters. Today W is going to be for worm. Have you seen any worms outside? You ever seen any worms come up after it rains? Or maybe when you were playing under rocks or digging in the dirt? Well, today's stories are about worms and we are very excited. I've got Bear here and let's get started by wiggling our feet. Ooh, hold on a second. You probably heard a big pop. My microphone fell down. Sorry about that. Let's fix that up. And then we can get moving and grooving. If I don't have this on, you just can't hear me very well. All right, so we are going to wiggle our feet and we are going to wiggle our fingers and we are going to wiggle our eyes. Can you wiggle your eyes? Make them big, blink them, shake your head so your eyes move. All right, feet, fingers, and eyes today. Here we go. Wake up, feet. Can you jump? Wake up, feet. Wake up, feet, and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wake up, feet, kick. Wake up, feet. Wake up and wiggle in the morning. Let me see your fingers. Shake them fast. Wake up, fingers. Wake up, fingers. Wake up, fingers, and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wake up, fingers. Wake up, fingers. Wake up and wiggle in the morning. What's our third one? Oh, eyes. Wake up, eyes. Wake up, eyes. Wake up, eyes, and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wake up, eyes. Wake up, eyes. Wake up and wiggle in the morning. All right, let's rock together. Oh, friends who read together, together, together. Oh, friends who read together will stay friends for sure. Let's read a book together, together, together. Let's read a book together and always be friends. Thanks, Bear. All right, let's start off our worm story time with a book called Worm Weather. This book is by Taft and it's got some really fun old-fashioned pictures. Worm Weather. Drip, drop, skip and hop, splish, splash, sidewalk, dash. It's starting to rain. Wiggle, a worm, worm, wiggle, squirm. Worm weather. Underneath their feet on the sidewalk, all the worms are working. Coat, hat, rain goes splat. Boots jump, old tree stump. See our worms working under the ground? Big stump. Puddle swamp. Ooh, it's been raining hard. Look at all that water. Dark cloud. Move my fingers. Very loud. What's noisy when it rains? Thunder. Thunder's the noise. Big flash. Thunder, crash. Thunder's the sound and the light is lightning. Quick, race, pizza place. Ooh, what a yummy place to wait out a storm. Pizza pie. Sun pops, drizzle stops. There's an umbrella from last week's story time. U is for umbrella. Birds fly, rainbow sky. Run, sing, playground, swing. Wow, what a sweet playground they have. Worm, worm, wiggle, squirm. It's worm weather. Oh, when the ground gets full of water, the worms start to pop up. That's when they're extra easy to find. I think that's why it's worm weather, rainy worm weather. Sorry, let me adjust my camera a little bit. All right, let's sing a song about worms. It goes to the tune of Three Blind Mice, and it goes like this. I love worms. I love worms. See how they squirm. See how they squirm. I love to see them wiggle around. I love to see them dig in the ground. I love that they don't make a sound. I love worms. I love worms. Let's do it again. I love worms. I love worms. See how they squirm. See how they squirm. I love to see them wiggle around. I love to see them dig in the ground. I love that they don't make a sound. I love worms. I love worms. Nice job. Before we read our next book, let's sing our ABC song and learn the sign for W. Last week was V. V was like this. W just adds another finger. Do you see how my fingers are the same shape as the letter V? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. V, or V. I'm sorry, boys and girls. W. V, W is 3. Ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Hey, great job. All right, let's read another worm story together. This is called Yucky Worms by Vivian French. We are going to go through this book. It has a lot of words. We might not read every single bit, but we'll get this story. This says, yucky worms, and the worms are saying, how rude, and we're not yucky. Let's find out what's true. Oh, look at this page. Look at all the worm shapes. Oh, they're tunnels. Look extra close. They are tunnels, and inside the tunnels are little worms. And they're talking to each other. All right. Yucky worms. One day when I was in Grandma's garden, Grandma dug up a slimy, slithery, wiggly worm. Yuck, I said. Throw it away. Throw it away? Grandma looked horrified. Would you throw away one of your friends? You can't be friends with a worm, I said. You can't even tell which end is which. Yes, you can. Watch. Grandma put the worm down. It gave kind of a squirmy wiggle and disappeared really fast, pointy end first. As the rounded end vanished, Grandma said, there goes its tail. I bent down to look, and I could see it had left a little tunnel. Look at that. And it teaches us the important body parts of a worm. If you are into worms, this would be a great book to check out. What does it eat? Dirt? I wanted to know. It eats teeny tiny stones and bits of dirt, Grandma told me. But worms eat other things too, like rotting leaves and flowers and fruit and dead bugs. They especially like eating at night when it's cool. The stones and dirt help to grind up everything in the worm's stomach, and the worm poops it back out. Grandma pointed at the flower head. Can you see? I bent down and I saw what looked like a curly worm made out of dirt. That's worm poop, Grandma said. It's called a cast. You know when you recycle things? Well, worms recycle things. There's a lot of goodness left in the things that a worm eats, and when the goodness comes out again as poop, it helps plants grow big and strong. That's why worms are my friends. Grandma gave me a thumbs up. And it's not just their poop that's good for plants. The tunnels they dig loosen the soil so roots can stretch out and air and water can get in. Oh, and that helps the plants grow too. Did you know worms were so good for plants? Oops, hold on 1 second. Microphone fell again. It's broken, I think. All right, pause. Let's adjust the microphone. Okay, all better. It's dangerous being a worm, though, Grandma said. Dangerous? I asked. Lots and lots of animals think worms make the most delicious dinner. Birds love them. So do moles, badgers, frogs, hedgehogs, foxes. Oh, and humans accidentally slice them with spades when they're gardening. It's a tough life. Cutting them in half doesn't hurt them, Grandma, I said. They just turn into 2 worms and keep growing. Grandma shook her head. Poor worms. Lots of people think that, but it's not true. Time for a snack. Oh, it tells us a little fact. I just caught that. A worm's tail can regrow if it is cut off, but cutting a worm in half will kill it. Grandma had tea and I had orange juice. Can I dig up a worm? I asked. If it rains, the worms will come up on their own, Grandma said. I took a cookie. What if it doesn't rain? Grandma winked at me. We'll use a watering can and pretend. I finished my cookie as fast as I could. Can we trick the worms now? Grandma filled the watering can and I watered the ground. Then I stood back. I didn't want any worms chewing at my shoes. They only put their heads out, Grandma promised. It'll be a while before they do. Ooh. Grandma was right. I had time to eat 2 more cookies before she said, Look! Wow! I could just see the tip of the worm above the ground. Now watch this. Grandma stamped her foot and the worm disappeared. Did it see you? I asked. Grandma shook her head. Worms don't have eyes. They feel vibrations, though. And the thump might mean a hungry bird is looking for dinner. Grandma dug her fork in the ground. Up came lots of dirt and wriggly worms. She picked one up and washed it in the watering can. Don't drop it in. They can't swim, she said. Grandma put the clean worm on some paper and held it near my ear. And I could hear a rustling noise. What's that? They're covered in little bristles. The bristles and their muscles help them move. We have a little more information about how worms move at the bottom of this book. I've got muscles too. I bent my arm so Grandma could see. If you've got so many muscles, maybe you'd like to help me plant my sunflower seedlings. Okay, I agreed. When I go to school on Monday, I'm going to say that I have lots of new friends. Good idea, Grandma said. But I might not actually say they're worms. That's the end. Lots of information about worms in this book. So if you are a friend of worms, you might want to check out Yucky Worms by Vivian French. It's a really good book. All right, let's sing one more worm song. 2 more worm songs before we see our craft today. Our next song is Did You Ever See an Earthworm Wiggle Around? Did you ever see an earthworm, an earthworm, an earthworm? Did you ever see an earthworm wiggle around? He wiggles up this way and down that way. Did you ever see an earthworm wiggle around? Excuse me. Oh. All right, our next song goes to the tune of I'm a Little Teapot. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. But you're going to be a little earthworm. Can you pretend to be a worm? How can you pretend to be a worm? Let me see. You could wiggle with your finger. You could use your whole body and wiggle it on the ground. Can you wiggle like an earthworm? While we sing this song together. I'm a little earthworm crawling around. I like to dig deep in the ground. When I crawl up back out of the ground, I always have to check if any birds are around. Woo! Worms are bird food, aren't they, boys and girls? So if you want to be a worm, you have to be very cautious and watch for birds. Let's check out our W page today. W is for worm. It is also for whale, watermelon, watch, and windmill. And your craft today is a giant wiggly worm. You've got 2 popsicle sticks and a very long line that you can decorate and make your own worm puppet. If you want your worm to have a bendy body, you can bend him however you want. Color, decorate him. It's your very own worm friend. So your craft today is a worm puppet. All right, we are up to the letter W. Only 3 more weeks left. Next week, the letter X. See if you can guess what an X story time might be about. All right, take care.